really possible to get rich, and I really want to break that down. In the first section, you talked about one, now you're a millionaire from your networking business, so that is very clear for people to hear and understand. And for you, the seed that you planted was 10 meetings a day, hitting up 50 people to get to 10 meetings. That when you said that, that was like wow to me, because it actually made a abstract concept real, right? So like when you said that, I was like, okay, so how did you do that? Did you have a calendar? Like what were you doing to stay on top of all of these different things?
Well, I think that everyone is going to have their own way that's comfortable for them. You know what I mean? You could definitely have a calendar, you know, fill it up every single day and say, okay, cool, I'm going to look at my calendar and say 10 people will see this, at least 10 people will see this, you know, presentation, or I'll have 10 meetings every single day. To be quite honest, everyone has strengths, everyone has weaknesses. One of my personal weaknesses, and I think it's good to share this because many people will think that someone like me who has, you know, generated a lot of success in network marketing and networking period is, he's got to be perfect in every aspect. I'm not perfect in any way whatsoever. Organizing my day was never my strength. You know, that's not a strength for me at all. So I would say, if you're not that good in organizing, right, you gotta listen to yourself, right? You kind of gotta hear what's going on within your mind, right? And what I mean by that is, you know, when you're bullshitting yourself, like you know when you could have done more, but damn, that Cavs game is on at 8, you know, and I really want to watch it. I was more so that guy. Like I didn't necessarily, I did have a calendar that I put in, you know, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z today and for the rest of the month. But I didn't really follow it that much, you know, as maybe some other people are better at, you know. Maybe some of you, they definitely, because I know a lot of friends of mine who are really successful in doing that. Like they can like schedule out pinpointed things that they've got to do on a daily basis, and it works for them. So there's no right or wrong way, and I want to get that out. Like this is not just because I'm not like that. That doesn't mean if you're watching it, well, I'm very organized and, you know, very detail oriented. That's fine, and you can be successful at it too. I'm just saying that you've got to, you know, work in whatever manner is best for you. You know what I mean? So for me, I was just that guy. Like I knew that there would be times where, okay, I'll give a great example. I have a friend of mine, Javed White, and he had a teammate of his who she had access to an office in Brooklyn, and she had a huge network. You know, everyone knew her, and she actually, you know, just God rest her dead. You know, she passed away from some health complications a few years back, but you know, really great person. And what we did with her, with me and Javed, is because she knew so many people, because she had access to this office space, we would just tell her, look, invite your friends, whomever, your relatives, whatever the case may be, invite them to this office space that you have available to you here. Mike, me, is going to do the presentation for you. You know, he's going to do these meetings for you, you know, until you get the hang of knowing how to do them yourself. She did that. You know, she was packing these rooms out. So I'll give you an example of what it means to know that you did your all. So at this point in time in my business, I had moved out of Brooklyn. I was living in Suffolk County, Long Island. So to give that to, you know, give you kind of how far that is from the city. The office was in Brooklyn. I lived in Suffolk County, Long Island. That was about a 40 to 45 minute drive with no traffic, one way, for me to get from Suffolk County, Long Island to Brooklyn. And I had a job at that point in time. You know, while I was building my business, I ended up getting a job because I knew I needed some extra cash to help me build my business. So my job at the time, during this time, was from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I would leave my job at 5:30 actually, hop right in my car, go straight to Brooklyn. Now this is in rush hour traffic. It would take me maybe 2 hours to get to Brooklyn. So I wouldn't get to Brooklyn until about 7:30. 8 o'clock we started our meetings, and I would do a meeting, and they will probably take somewhere between 35, sometimes maybe an hour, right? From 8 o'clock all the way to maybe 11:30, midnight, every day, okay? And there would be maybe 4 people in there, 10 people in there, 12 people in there, 8 people in there, but every 35, 40 minutes to an hour, there was a brand new set of people I was in there. And I would be in front of the room doing a PowerPoint presentation, and there would be times where this young lady would say, after we're done with these meetings, hey, I have somebody that I want to show in Jersey. Could you come with me?
Yeah.
This is another 45-minute drive in another direction, going into another state.
Yeah.
Sitting in this person's living room, and my answer was always, yes, let's go. Without question. I would finish the meeting now, maybe almost 2 a.m., because we had to get there. I still have to drive back home to Suffolk County, wake up the next morning, go to work, leave 5:30, 2 hours in traffic, go back to Brooklyn every day. Literally so some people need to see a calendar. For me, it was, I'm drained. Like, I'm doing a lot, and I know that I'm doing a lot. You know how many people would, at that moment, after doing that last, PowerPoint presentation,
I'm going home.
Close the laptop. They know they got to drive back that 45 minutes back home, and for, me, I said, okay, cool, you have somebody else, because you just never know. You never know who's going to come into your business, at whatever point in time and radically change it. You know what I'm saying? Who would come in and, take you from where you are to having thousands of people in your organization just because you went that extra step. You know what I'm saying? So that was my thing. I didn't necessarily go through a calendar. I just made sure that I was drained every day.
Wow.
And I knew that I was showing a lot of people, for sure.
That's amazing. So, would you say that you just became a robot, or like?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I was a robot for my dreams. You know what I'm saying? I was a robot for everything I wanted to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? I put myself in this state of, I'm gonna do what, as long as it's ethical and I'm not disrespecting anybody, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. Because see, the thing is, for me, when I saw this opportunity, it allowed me to dream again like a kid, right? So, the moment, it was almost like, if I can use a analogy or a description of something, if anybody's familiar with football, right, and you have a running back, the running back is the player who grabs the football from the quarterback, and their job is to like run to the end zone to get the touchdown. But they get it behind the line of blockers and the line of guys, defenders who's trying to tackle them. With this opportunity, I was the running back that saw an opening to where I can shoot through all the obstacles in life to get to my dreams and my goals, but I had to get through those obstacles, right? This is me running through the obstacle course with the blockers, right? And dodging all the BS is gonna happen, right? Trying to get to the end goal, and the end zone is the all my dream stuff. So I had to become this is kind of like a robot,
yeah,
for sure. And it took a toll as far as the first few years. And every time I talk about this, it's always something that I think back on. And I don't say I would like to change it, but it's like best way to describe it's a double-edged sword, right? Where with my daughter, she's 9 now, but for the first few years of her being born, I don't remember spending much time with her.
Wow.
And that time you can't get it back, right? And that it kind of sucks when you think about it. But on the flip side,
she's living better.
My daughter, she's 9 now. She won't even remember any of that in her life, in that time when I wasn't around her. And my daughter, she now lives a life that I wish I had, as a kid. You know what I'm saying? She goes to a great school. She lives in an amazing surrounding. You know, like she lives a dope life.
So let's talk about it technically a little bit more.
Yeah.
About the meetings and the setup, and then your process. Because I think that's important.
For sure.
So you had access to was it like a?
That was just one lady. But I mean, just to give you,
Okay.
I want you to finish your.
Because this is something that somebody who's watching could repeat.
For sure. Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
So. In essence of it being one-to-one, it's
Yeah.
possible for you to grow your business one-to-many. Which is a big
sure.
idea.
Mm-hmm.
So, you guys had the space. Like, what type of space was it? Like,
it was a small office. I mean, like, it was a conference room, pretty much, if anyone can think of a conference room. But here's what I want to say: you don't need that. I gave you that story because that actually happened. And to even go further in that story, like, just because someone's watching this and saying, "Wow, he got successful because he had access to a conference room, and he can bring people into an office to share the information with." No, wrong. Like, absolutely, that's not why I got successful.
Okay.
Actually, the other part of that story is there weren't that many people that actually signed up with all of those meetings that I were doing in there. We didn't get that much traction. Actually, when I think about it now, I don't even think that I got more than maybe one leader out of the probably hundreds that I showed out of that office space. So yes, I had an office space that I had access to. It meant nothing to my business whatsoever. What you want to do, you first filling up your calendar, showing a lot of people, right? So it can be anywhere. Saying to yourself, okay, I want to set up these meetings. I want to do 10 meetings a day. These meetings can be in a Starbucks. They can be in a living room.
Yeah.
They can be sitting in a car. You can have your laptop out showing the information. They could be behind the car on the trunk of the car. Don't put in your mind that you need things to be a specific way. That's wrong. You need the numbers, right? Networking is a numbers game. The more people you get in front of, the more likely you'll have people to say yes if they want to join the opportunity. You know what I mean? Okay. So
let's talk a little bit about the presentation and the presentation flow. So after a couple times, you did it. Is it something to where it's like, this is the pitch, I do it the same way every time, or do you vibe with the person, see what's interesting to them, or do you show them a company sponsored video every time? Like, what was your way of how you did it?
That's a great question. So I think sometimes people get caught up with that, like, what's the specific way for me to share this opportunity? All right. Most networking opportunities, they have a few different ways that they can share the information with, right? So one way is a company sponsored video. Another way is a company sponsored, like PowerPoint presentation. Another way is maybe like a company, handbook that you can go through, right? It's called a flip book.
Yeah.
There's many different ways. You can even have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
Some people even create, they'll take a napkin and they'll just kind of describe it on a napkin, right? It's called a napkin presentation. There's many different ways to do it. Here's the thing: there's no right or wrong way to do it. There's also, PowerPoint. Yeah, we said that already. But like, there's no one specific way to do, and that's very important. You can get comfortable, doing it a certain way, and that's fine. But just say, for example, right? If you get comfortable with doing a one-on-one PowerPoint presentation, let's say for whatever reason your battery dies on your computer or your iPad, are you now going to not share the information with somebody because you don't have access to your iPad or a computer? No, you gotta figure out a way to get it done. You know what I'm saying? I got a great story actually with Sean, who's here now, who's had a lot of success, in networking. So there was a day where I met up with him. I didn't know him from a hole in the wall. Actually, if we're gonna keep it real, the day that I met him, I just wasn't feeling well. Okay, I had a good fun night the night before, and the next day I just wasn't feeling well. Right, I met up with Sean. I didn't have anything on me. I didn't have a notebook. I didn't have a PowerPoint presentation set up. I didn't have a laptop. I didn't have anything. Me and Sean met that day for the first time, and we had a conversation, okay? So to kind of give you a point what I was saying before, right? I had a office that I was running presentations through and barely got anybody to sign up. Out months of doing presentations out of it. I meet up with Sean. We meet up for the first time. Never had a real conversation before that day. We have a conversation. Sean gets involved, brings in thousands of people to the idea. So the point of all of that is to say there's many ways you can share the information, but you got to understand, you got to be good at all of it. I'll give you another, I'll give you a comparing and contrast to it, right? Use another sports analogy. Basketball. Everybody, for the most part, is familiar with Michael Jordan, right? Why is Michael Jordan regarded as one of the best players of all time, if not the best basketball player of all time? Why? He wasn't just only good at shooting the ball. He wasn't just only good at dribbling the ball. He wasn't only just good at shooting short range shots. He could shoot 3-pointers. He can dunk the ball. If you double teamed him, he knew how to pass out of it, or he could dribble out of it. He can defend as well. He led the league in steals a lot of times. He was an all-around great basketball player. To be good, I think, in networking, you've got to be all around good in sharing the information, whether you're doing a PowerPoint, whether you're doing a one-on-one, whether you have somebody else with you to help share the information, with something I call a two-on-one, where you bring somebody else in that may have a little bit more experience than you and they can help share the information. You've got to just do it enough times. Repetition is the mother of all skill. Repetition is the mother of all skill. You got to keep doing it until you find a way to where, you know what, you become Neo. You don't matter how you come up, you bring the information to somebody. It's just coming out of you. Your confidence is coming out of you. You know what you know. You know that you're speaking about a product that you're fully confident in. You're fully aware that how much value you can bring to somebody. So that just comes with repetition, showing it however you show it, from a video to a PowerPoint to whatever, over and over and over.
So let's talk about public speaking.
Yeah.
So talking is a scary thing for
a
lot of
shit out of people, for sure. Yeah.
So I mean, what's your take on people, or maybe some people aren't the best with talking? Because like you said, like one-to-one's one thing. What if someone's like, hey, I want you to talk to my whole church?
Yeah, you just get started, right? Like,
it's like the first day, and your people are like, yo, I got you, 100 people.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, I think that's when you gotta bring in the reinforcements, right? So let's say, for example, you get started today, and you know, as soon as you get started today, you say, you know what, I got somebody in mind that I think wants to do this. And obviously, if you got started today, that means that somebody had to bring you in, right? Somebody had to introduce this to you. And if it's your first day, and you already have someone in mind that can possibly have maybe a couple hundred people to show that day. Doesn't always happen, but let's say that does happen. Then you gotta bring in some help, you know. So the person, for example, that introduced you to the information, more than likely that person they're more equipped to share the information with a bunch of people. You know, they're more equipped to be in front of a room and be comfortable with, you know, even if it's like if it's them just putting on a video, but they know what to say before the video, they know what to say after the video. That stuff goes a long way. If the person that introduced you to it is also new, go up again. You gotta go back up one. You gotta find the person that is financially incentivized to help you, that has enough experience. If today is your first day, that will, you know, give you that assistance.